Hey guys, Jason Benson here with LoveMoves.Us. How do you get your kids to tell you what they need? If your kids are anything like mine, they don't tell you what they need all that often. A few weeks ago, my son had a friend over and they were hanging out outside. Yes, outside. If you're watching this at a later date, we've been having sub-zero temperatures lately, but this was before all that. Now, I try consistently to get my kids to spend some time outside. It's good for me and it's good for them. Even if they have to bundle up, I encourage them to go out and play in the snow, go sledding, jump on our trampoline, or walk to a friend's house. Now, this friend had come over to our house riding a dirt bike. And my son is like way into dirt bikes. I mean, he's always talking about how he can get one. And so, of course, he wants to ride this friend's dirt bike. And so I'm sitting inside the comfort of my warm house, sitting at my desk, looking out the window, and I see him riding this kid's dirt bike down the street with no helmet, without having asked us. And of course, I'm freaked out. I'm immediately elevated and I need to get control of my own emotions. Did I overreact? Maybe. Okay, probably. I went downstairs to tell my wife, and then I went outside to let him know that it was not okay for him to be riding a dirt bike without asking, much less without having a helmet. And he just looked at me. He just sat there and then he responded with, well, can I ride it? And I'm like, dude, you need to ask before you ride it, and you still need a helmet. And of course, we have this old Chicago Bears helmet in our garage that I bought for my other son years ago, and it's a toy. It's not a piece of protective equipment. So I have to tell him that, it just wouldn't work. He needs to ask and he needs to wear a helmet. Admittedly, I kind of laid into him and I walked inside and even felt that I'd done that and I was a little bit too hard on him. And he came inside and then something big happened.
At Love Moves Us, we focus on serving and supporting families who foster or adopt because we want to see them flourish. Parenting is hard enough on its own, but parenting children who come from different backgrounds or who have a history of trauma brings its own unique challenges. We're based out of the Chicagoland area, but we will continue to host things online to serve as many families as possible, regardless of where you live. Now listen in as Jason shares some of the things that we can do to help our kids share their needs.
So my son comes inside after this interaction where I admittedly went a little over the top. And therein lies the first principle we can glean from a situation like this. That is, you have to get control of your own emotions. Breathe. You do not need to overreact. Only meet the behavior with as much force as is necessary. There's no need to come at this with a bazooka when a fly swatter will suffice. So take some deep breaths, calm yourself down, and get a grip on the perspective you need to have to come at this the right way. Anyway, I look at my son when he comes in the door and I realize I've messed up. And honestly, I don't remember exactly how it went down. I know that I apologized to him. I don't remember exactly how I said it, but I admitted that I made this mistake and that I went over the top. And this is an important principle to remember as well. If you cause a rupture in the relationship, you have to be willing to eat some crow. Humble yourself, admit your mistake, apologize. It's what we expect our kids to do, but many of them haven't had this modeled for them. And we need to model it for them so that we can see this in them, so they can do it. Rupture, then we repair. When you make the mistake, when you rupture the relationship, you make the repair. And this sets the table for better communication and demonstrating that we mess up too, and this is how you handle it when you mess up. It doesn't have to be a big blow to their self-esteem that they can't admit mistakes. For many of our kids, that's what an apology means. It means they are a terrible person and unworthy. They've messed up and they can't handle admitting that. But if we model for them, if we show them how to handle it, they will eventually be able to do it. Now, the next thing that happened, I will likely never forget. Again, I don't remember exactly how our conversation went down, but when he came inside, I do remember this. He looked at me and he said, "That was embarrassing." This was huge. He used a feeling word. He never uses feeling words. By doing this, he was expressing his need. And now I was duty bound to meet that need. When our kids express any kind of a need, not a want, but a need, listen, we're all adults, right? We know the differences between wants and needs, but sometimes our kids' needs are disguised in wants. We have to be able to discern the difference. Saying they want a light on at night sounds like a want, But what if the need behind that want is that they are scared and leaving the light on will help eliminate their fear? What if they ask to do at-home school in the living room instead of the basement? Might sound like a want, and maybe it is, but what if they're asking because they're fearful or anxious about being alone in the basement? We really have to discern what our kids need. And at a moment when my son told me he was embarrassed and he used this feeling word, I knew he needed an apology to build trust and to build connection between him and I. He wasn't telling me overtly that he needed an apology. I had to discern some of that, but he was expressing his feelings and the need that goes along with the feeling. When our children tell us what they need, we absolutely must do everything we can to meet their need. Then we celebrate it. We praise them for it. We call it out. We make a big deal out of it. Listen, there's two things that if we do, we can get our kids to share their needs. One, we need to meet their need when they express it. And two, we have to praise them and call it out when they express that need. Great job. Great job telling me what you need. Awesome. You used a feeling word. You're embarrassed. I'm so sorry I embarrassed you. You need some milk? Yes, I would love to get you some milk. Can you ask with respect by saying please? Remember, sometimes you might have to dig a little deeper and ask some questions to uncover if there's a need that they're looking to be met. It's not always clear. Sometimes you have to ask some questions. And sometimes the best question is the most direct question. What do you need? What do you need? Keep in mind, they may not be equipped to answer that question, but it's a good practice to get into. It will cause them to think about what they're really looking for. So to recap, get control of your emotions. Rupture and repair by modeling and apologizing. Praise them and call it out when they express their need. Meet their need when they express it. Ask questions if you need to, but I promise you, over time, you will see your children begin to express their needs, and that's something we can all celebrate. Hey, if you found this video helpful, please do me a favor and click like below and share in the comments section what you found most helpful. Then make sure you subscribe to our channel. All of that will help make sure more parents like you can find this video and you won't miss an episode.